I hated it whenever I was a kid and in church and had people around me that were in church, and it scared me to death, thinking that the rapture was coming, the end of the world was coming. I was going to be left behind unless I was perfect or something. Let me go ahead and say that following God is very easy, the easiest thing in the world. Following actual God is the easiest thing, and absolutely no reason why somebody wouldn't want to do that instead. But the mark of the beast, I want to explain what it is. Everybody's afraid of the mark of the beast today. They're afraid they're going to take it, the COVID, somebody's going to give them a chip. They're afraid that the mark of the beast is a chip. The mark of the beast was never a chip. It's never going to be a chip. That's not the mark of the beast. Jesus Christ already returned. The world is not ending. Um, there's wars and stuff that you can be plenty afraid of. There's, things like that. You should try to change the world to where those things don't happen. But the mark of the beast was a Jewish thing, for one. The Jewish alphabet was letters and numbers. Their numbers were letters, like alpha, beta, that kind of stuff. So he said, let him who has wisdom, right? The mark of the beast happened a long time ago. Whenever the book of Revelation was written, it said that the beast had 7 heads, and that there were 7 kings, and that 5 of those were fallen already. 1 was ruling then, and the other was to come and rule a short time. 5 of those were already fallen at the time that that was written. So the mark of the beast also only lasted 42 months, 3.5 years. We know that it already happened back then. But what the mark of the beast was had nothing to do with anything like that. God would seal people, the children of God, whenever Jesus came and they got filled with the Holy Spirit. The angels sealed these people on their forehead, right, with the seal of God. Well, the mark of the beast isn't even something that you can see, and it's crazy how people call something like a chip the mark of the beast, because it was a mark. It was a spiritual mark that people took for one. It was actually, if you read in Deuteronomy and Exodus, it said that the law and the Passover was the mark of the beast. That was a sign. He said, let this be for a sign upon your hand and a memorial between your eyes, so that the law of the Lord may be in your mouth. But that law was given as a curse. Jesus Christ became the new Passover. They said, Jesus Christ, our Passover, right? Whenever he became the new Passover and he returned, people stopped taking communion. He returned in 66 AD. He returned. Even in history, it says that you could see armies running on the clouds. Josephus was an eyewitness of it and wrote it down. You can look that up. He said if you weren't there to see it, you wouldn't believe it, because it seemed like, the thing of fairy tales, or whatever word he used, but it was like that. The thing of fairy tales, There were armies running on the clouds whenever Christ came. And once Christ came, he took the believers out with him. They fled into the mountains and they were with Christ, right? And then the beast came and ruled for that 3.5 years, for that 1,260 days, 42 months. That's how long the mark of the beast had power. Anybody telling you that something like a website, www or something like that, is the mark of the beast is an idiot. Websites have been here a long time. The internet's been here a long time. The mark of the beast only lasted 42 months. People on here say the Bible's the mark of the beast. I used to be in that. The Bible's been here for a long time. The mark of the beast only lasted 42 months. And it was already ruling at the time that it was written. It was already, 5 of the heads were already dead anyway, and the other one was coming. So the mark of the beast was a sign upon their hand and a memorial between their eyes. Whenever Christ returned, they tried to keep the law. They protected the temple. They said that that was God's temple. There was a people called the Zealots, and they fought the Romans for 42 months. And they won a couple wars. They actually won victories, and then people were like, who's like unto the beast? Who can make war with him? There were so many Jews back then. There was only like 300 million estimated people on the planet, and there were millions of Jews in that. That's huge back then, how many Jews there were. So for them to be able to fight Rome and actually hold their own for a minute, that was pretty impressive. But they were eventually destroyed. But these people rejected Jesus Christ. And now what I was saying was, their alphabet, whenever they said people's names, the people who had wisdom of the Jews, whenever they said people's names, everybody had a number value, because every letter was a number. Everybody had a numerical value. So for them, they could count the number of the beast, which was 666. Now, people try to add things up like images and stuff that make 666, but it was the number of the man that was 666. So people looking at these things and saying, well, this chip, it's going to have the number 666 in it and everything. What are you talking about? It would be whoever implemented the mark of the beast. It was the number of a man who implemented the mark of the beast. What it was some kind of image of the law that these zealots or a zealot leader made, that was the law and the prophets trying to keep the law whenever Christ had fulfilled it. That was people taking the mark of the beast. They said that a new Messiah was there. They actually called their own people the Messiah. They said that the temple should still stand whenever Christ had already made people the temple of God. You know, they rejected Jesus Christ and kept the Passover instead of communion. And this was the mark of the beast. It was also the people who overcame the mark of the beast. They stood on a sea of glass having the harps of God in their hands, and they sang a new song. They sang the song of Moses, because it was people under the law. Moses was the beginning of that law, and the people under the law that overcame the mark of the beast, they sang the song of Moses. Moses brought that curse to Israel. They sang the song of Moses. We have nothing to do with the law. You would have to have been a Jew. He said, Gentiles having not the law do by nature the things contained in the law. The Jews said that, Peter said, how can we give them the law that not even our fathers could bear? So the mark of the beast has nothing to do with Gentiles or today. The mark of the beast had to do with the Jewish people back then, and it was the law. They sung the song of Moses. Moses has nothing to do with us. We were never under the law. We weren't part of the law. And we didn't have the Hebrew alphabet where it let him with wisdom, in other words, understanding and knowledge, people that were good at math, people who would learn, you know, they could actually count the number of the beast, which was the number of a man, and his number was 666. So the mark of the beast isn't happening today. It's never going to happen. It's not going to Now, you might not want to let the government put a chip in you for other reasons. You can definitely be afraid of that, you know. You might not want to do that. But the mark of the beast, no, and it's not the end. The rapture's not going to happen. All those things happened back then. I got plenty of videos explaining that. So that's what the mark of the beast was. And all these things that people think that it's going to be is ridiculous. Some kind of chip? No, it was from people worshiping an image. Right? They worshipped an image. That's how they took a spiritual mark. Alright, they had to worship the image, and they were branded with a spiritual mark of the beast. They were sealed upon their head and hand, just like the people of God were sealed upon their foreheads. You know? So Christianity ended in 70 AD. It's very easy to live for God. Just follow God and God only. Get out of this. Get out of all of this. No more Christianity. No more anything. That stuff ended. Tell the truth about it. It's over. Christianity's been bad and confusing, and they've said that it was the end for many generations now, and then those people died. So many people have said over the last 2,000 years that the end was coming and Jesus was returning in their lifetime, and it's never happened. They all died liars, and these people today are also going to die liars. They're going to say that it's the end. They're going to say that this is it. It's not going to happen. So stop being afraid of the end of the world and the mark of the beast. Stop being afraid of the rapture, everything. It's pointless. Guys, live for God and God only. He'll start giving you dreams. Just pay attention to your dreams. Live for Him. Understand that all this is over. And get out of it.